back to my channel. I'm Emerald the Quilter, and I have an exciting video for you today because I'm going to show you how to add the finishing touches to the Spritz Cookie Quilt from the Perfect 5 Quilts book by Itso Emma. This is the last quilt in the 3 Charm Pack quilt category, and I am so looking forward to starting the next category, which is made of 4 charm packs. And make sure you watch all the way to the end because I'm going to share some cute behind the scene projects that I've been working on, like this one here and a couple others. These blocks are definitely the largest in the entire book, and I just finished the other night the last of these blocks, and they came out so cute. There are 9 total, and the reason there was a bit of a delay, and I had anticipated that delay, was because I did not have enough background fabric. And if you are a Bonnie and Camille Shine On fan, then you know that finding this white on white rainbow is a pain to find. And the way I found it was through a quilt kit. There were 2 quilt kits called Shine On, and it's a Moda boxed kit on Etsy. And it comes with this line, and it comes with the Shine On pattern. I didn't even know the Shine On pattern existed. And so I bought that, and it came with plenty of background fabric. Now, I took 10 inches out of that quilt kit. Am I gonna have enough to finish that new kit? I don't know. But I just wanted to show it to you. It's a cute box. Here it is. And so that's something that you can do when you are working with a line that is a little old, you know, not this year's or even last year's or even the year before. If it's a few years, you might have to resort to buying a kit. So it's a cute kit. You can see now I have more fabric. I would definitely have enough to make something else because I do have a different book that goes with this fabric. So, you know, I made it work, and I've already cut out the sashing, which is right here. And the color that I'm using, I believe, is called Seagrass or Sea Glass by Moda, and it goes really well with these prints right here. So it's almost an exact match. And when I look at the flowers here, I mean, you can't tell. That is so close. So I'm excited to have all 9 of these done, and I'm going to show you how I lay them out to make sure that certain colors are not too close to one another, like these navy blues and the reds. Those are definitely the brightest and darkest colors within this collection, and we'll come back together. Here are all 9 blocks laid out, and you can see that I've begun adding the sashing. I have just a couple more here in my hand, and I also laid down 2 of those border edges so that you can see that having color, a solid color in your sashing and in your borders really gives the quilt like a all-inclusive, snuggly, I'm closed, finished, complete kind of look. It's got a really great vibe to it. It sort of reminds me of some of the vintage quilts that have that granny green. Usually those quilts were English paper pieced, but this certainly has a twist to that feeling. And laying out these different blocks wasn't all too difficult. You can see right there, look, that print and that print is the same, just different colors. I may move them, I may not, because I have 4 colors right there. So I'm just going to take a quick look. See, if I take that one, then that flower matches this orange one. So it was not too bad. I think I laid these out and picked my final design in all of like 5 or 10 minutes. But what is most important is that there are no spots where 2 exact colors are the same except for right here. So there's that floral on aqua and then just regular aqua with the white print on it, a white white design, but at a distance it does look a little bit more greenish, and so I found that to be acceptable. But when you look at it from afar, I don't see anything that really pops out. So now what I'm going to do is take all the sashing, and I'm going to just begin sewing this, here, all the way down. I'll press them towards the sashing on the inside, and then we'll come back together so that you can see what it looks like, and I'll just place up the horizontal sashing. The vertical sashing is sewn in, and it looks so good. I placed one horizontal sashing just on top so you can see what it looks like, and I've got the other one here in my hand. So I want to show you how I sew these, because if you're not careful, they can get off-centered and they can get really wavy. With this quilt, I pinned in every half square triangle, and then one pin added to the vertical sashing. This gives me enough room to go at a decent speed, not having to stop too much, and then with me, and this is important, remembering to feed the fabric into the machine consistently, both layers, I can avoid waves. So that's what I recommend doing. When I sewed the blocks to the vertical sashing, I added 3 pins. So one in the middle, one at the bottom, and then one in between those two. And that was because I was able to maneuver the top half, but trying to sew without pins the second half was a little problematic. And the very first row that you sew together to the sashing, you will have a little bit more forgiveness. But once we add the other piece to it, not so much, because we're going to have to consider where the center of every single vertical sashing and those edges for that vertical sashing is going to go, because we want to avoid making the quilt look lopsided. So I will show you what I mean by that. And I did want to show y'all what was really fun, these patches. So if you have ever been shop hopping here in Texas, and they have them in other states as well, then you know that during shop hop, you get these fun patches. And so my dear friend and I traveled 168 miles yesterday. Yesterday was the 12th, and it was honestly the very best way to spend my birthday. And not that we planned it to be that way, but I just had such a wonderful time. And we visited, you will not believe how many shops. From, I mean, the moment the first one opened, we even got there early. We sat in the parking lot for like 10 minutes and just hung out. 10 shops. We did 10 shops. And the way that it works is you take your passport, which is built into the magazine, and you get a sticker and one of these patches. And I'm just pressing this down real quick so that I can get this back up onto the wall. And here are what the patches look like, and these are the shops that we visited. So my friend Diane and I, we have all the same ones. How exciting is that? Quilters Emporium, and this one says, if I stitch fast enough, does it count as aerobic exercise? And I think that it definitely should. Quilters Cottage, and this one says, I had just had an out of bobbin experience. It left me stitchless. Ha ha ha. So funny, right? But they're just all so cute, and the magazine comes with these beautiful patterns. This one is from Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse. I quilt so I don't choke people, save a life, and send fabric. Quilters Quarters in Conroe, Texas. This one just says, quilters live a colorful life, and don't we do. So Amazing Grace Quilt Store, Shop Till You Drop at the All Texas Shop Hop. I love the little shopping cart. Do What You Love, Threaded Lines Quilt Shop. Threaded Lines was the biggest sponsor at the Joy of Quilts show this year, and so we had to go visit them. Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse, Quilting, Piecing Together Fabric and Sanity one stitch at a time. Adorable. Cupcake Quilts, Where Life is Sweet. Love the cupcake on there. So Special Quilts, Good Friends Are Like Quilts. They age with you and never lose their warmth. Love it. Bobbins and Threads, My Happy Place. So these are the patches, and they are 5, not exactly, just about. I mean, you can squish it in, right? 5 inches on this long dotted lined line. And so you can make all kinds of things with these. At So Special Quilts, they have the most beautiful like mini quilt. That pattern, I think that they took from a pattern that already exists, not in the magazine, and then just added these instead of blocks. So you could do that. These are the featured quilts on the magazine. So this is what it's called, the All Texas Shop Hop. And then it says March and April 2025 visit our 131 participating shops. And this is what it looks like. So I got my stickers, and I mean, for one day, that is quite a lot. So, oh, and then I wanted to show you something else that was fun. If you turn and you have this magazine to page 58, and I looked it up, I can show this to you because I am the editor of the guild for which I wrote this ad, and I give full permission to show on this video. Right here. So I came up with that. I volunteer with the Quilt Guild of Greater Houston, and it says that we have in-person and Zoom speakers. We have workshops, retreats, which are amazing. And then if you want information to join our Zoom meetings, and those are on the 3rd Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and the 3rd Fridays at 10 a.m. You can email QGGHinfotech, tech spelled TECH, @gmail.com to get the Zoom link. And if you would like to meet in person, we're at Congregation Brith Shalom, 4610 Bel Air Boulevard, Bel Air, Texas, 77401, and I make it as often as I can. So that's the first ad that I've ever made, and it actually went into a magazine. So exciting, right? All kinds of things happening over here, not just sewing. So these are the patches. You saw the stickers. Go shop hopping. You will not regret it. And while I was shop hopping, I got these cute backgrounds for some upcoming patterns that I'm gonna that are coming up from the Perfect 5 Quilts book. I'll show you one because it's just right here. So 2 quilts from now. So not this one, and not the next one, the one after that. I'm using Sonnet Dusk by Corey Chef, I think is what that says, Corey Chef. And so this is beautiful light pink, and it's called Unicorn Poop. I mean, what a funny name. Tulip Pink Solid Unicorn Poop in Peach Fuzz. That's the name of the color. Although this is by Riley Blake, and Tulip Pink, I don't think she is Riley Blake, it worked really well. So I bought 4.5 yards of that. So I just had a lot of fun shopping with my girlfriend. And now we can get back to this. I'm gonna lay this out, okay? So like this. And when I pin, I want to make sure that, and I'll show this to you up close, I want to make sure that this edge here matches up with the edge on the other side and this one. So that's what's going to be most important in keeping your quilt looking lopsided. And I'm going to grab those pins right now so I can show you how careful and just the distance, right? When you have a long distance to travel, you can get a little off. Add more pins, okay? So let me add these pins in real quick, and then I'll show you in greater detail. I've added twice as many pins this time, and let me explain why. You see all of these seams? These seams will make your blocks really flexible, meaning that they can pull very easily. The solid piece of fabric only has so much give. And especially because some are on the bias because they're half square triangles and I layered fabrics in any which way, there's going to be even more give in some places. So that's why I added twice as many pins. And if you've gone through the process with this quilt similarly to the way I've done it, I do highly recommend this. And here's what I mean when I say mind your horizontal sashing and your vertical sashing. So when I pinned right here and I look completely on the opposite side, they should be aligned. Now you can check by feeling underneath and just making sure that those seams are in the same spot. Another way to do it is to lay your fabric as you're pinning. Get your fabric up to the edge so that they're layered properly, and then roll it back and shift it to the left and to the right until it's properly aligned. And that's how I did it. So I just wiggled and started with the corners first, then the sashing, and then the blocks. That way I was able to make sure that every piece of fabric and every block was evenly distributed. And I lost my pin. Here is my pin. Okay, there we go. And this one kind of popped out. There we go. Now, another thing is, you may have noticed that as I was sewing this long sashing on, it was not measured. It was not. It was just one very long strip. There was probably a good 6 inches left, just extra. And I've found over the years that regardless if you have exact matches or not, there's most likely going to be a problem that comes up, or you're going to have some kind of wiggle room, and there's just always some flexibility to work with your project. And so just so that, you know, I can skip one step, I don't cut the sashing exactly until I add that second row of blocks. So once I cut out the sashing, matching it to the first row of blocks, I was able to make sure that the second row that I was attaching to that first horizontal sashing was aligned and distributed evenly across its entirety. And so that worked really great. Has been working really great for me. You should try it. And I've had a wonderful spring break. It's finally not super cold. I think many of these mornings are starting off in the 50s, but by the time it's 2 o'clock, it's in the 70s. So my son has enjoyed his new toy that he got from his grandparents, and he has this, it's like a Jeep that he can ride. So it's a kid-sized battery-operated vehicle that comes with an adult remote so that I can take over if I have to. And it's got 2 speeds and reverse. Right now, the plastic cover is limiting him from using speed 2 because I am embarrassingly out of shape and just power walking after him for an hour or an hour and a half is enough for me right now. And so he loves, that's his favorite thing right now, is riding around in his car. And when he first saw it, the first thing he said to me was, "Mommy, we can go to the playground now." I'm like, yes, we can. We can go to the playground. And so where we are living, the playground is a good 30-minute walk. But with the car, it's like a 20-minute drive. And that's his little car, okay? And so we've taken it out to the playground, and he was just so grown in his little mind. The freedom on his face. And he did invite me to get in the car with him. "Mommy, I'll take you." I'm like, "No, I can't. I'm too big." So we've been enjoying that. And I have a new project that I wanted to show you that I got done. It took me about 3 to 4 days because I didn't work on it all together. Countless hours, interrupted hours. I couldn't even tell you from start to finish. Really difficult. So I made the sweet pea sling. And I will have to look up the pattern to see who the designer is. But I saw this sling being advertised in a class at a quilt shop in Kansas 2 summers ago. And I knew one day I was going to make that. And so last year at the International Quilt Festival, I saw the pattern. I was like, "Oh!" And I snatched it. And then I was like, okay, I'm buying the pattern. I'm just going to go ahead and make it. And I discovered cork. And cork is a lot like, at least for the bags, it is a lot like leather in sort of its texture and thickness. It's not actual leather. It's some sort of cork, and it doesn't like fall apart when you bend it. And it is just really pretty. It was so hard to do, but I am confident that I can make it again. I saved all the templates. I did not cut out the templates that came with the pattern, but I traced it instead. And I did that because I didn't ever want to accidentally like overcut the templates that the pattern came with. Okay, guys, here's the moment of truth. Look at that. It's straight. You see, it makes this perfect plus sign. And that's what you want. If it's like a 1/4 inch off, the untrained eye will notice it because lines should be straight. They're the easiest to tell when they're not in a quilt. So keep your pins aligned here and here, and then all else will be well. You're going to repeat this process with the remaining horizontal sashing, and I'll show you what that sling looks like. I'm in the middle of pinning the next section. And do you see what I see? Do you see what is wrong? And this quilt is just so freaking cute that I can't believe it's right here. You see that? This is supposed to be here. The only reason I noticed that it was facing the wrong way is because these two were touching and none of the others are touching. This one is. None of the others are touching. So the way I'm going to fix this is I'm going to take out these 4 seams with about 3/4 of an inch here, here, passing here, and of course through here as well. And then I'll re-stitch it back together. Thank goodness that I found that now, and I can't believe I made that mistake. And I just checked the other piece and it's okay. So check your blocks before you add your sashing. Thank goodness I caught that one unit that was rotated the wrong way, because it would have driven me crazy. And after fixing it, it was almost impossible to tell the difference, because everything about this quilt is just so pretty. And when I finished adding that last sashing, adding the borders was super easy because it was a repeat of the exact same process. I doubled the amount of pins and it went by super fast. So here is the finished quilt top. I love the Spritz Cookie Quilt. This could go on a bed. I mean, any quilt can go on a bed, but this one is so huge. I mean, this could go on my son's full-size bed. This is a little girly, so it's not going to, but I could center it on my bed and it would look really good. And if you have like any store-bought quilted quilt, you know, for your bed, which we all do, okay, let's not pretend that we don't have at least one. If it's like white, cream, yellow, orange, blue, you put this on top and it will just brighten the room. I mean, this is so gorgeous. And I do have the backing. I ordered the backing from Etsy because Etsy is wonderful to find older lines on. And here it is. And it is just that floral print, and I've used it before on another quilt that I showed you in the last video. So I'm just really excited to get this done, quilted. I don't know what color I'm gonna use on the binding. Maybe pink. I'm thinking, yeah, it'd be great, you know, this color, just to make it a little extra more fun. That's a great idea. So now I want to show you a couple other things that I've been working on. The most recent small project I finished was the Sweet Pea Sling. This is a crossbody pattern by Sassafras Lane Designs. That's what it looks like. And of course, I was attracted to the rainbow. I did not go with rainbow. I found some nature print. It has these birds. I think that's a hummingbird. It definitely looks like one. And it is super cute. If it's just right, you can turn it to the back. That's what it looks like. And I really wanted to make this because having a purse while you're out in public and a 3-year-old son doesn't mix, and so this gives me freedom of movement to like chase after him. And I can still put my phone in my purse and tissues and whatever else I need in here. So it's got this nice size pocket in the front, and everything about this purse is done except for that I need to hand sew this binding down right here. But it's got the cute little card holder right there, so you can put 2 cards, and the optional like key ring and a bigger pocket. So super cute. I am ready to go full boy mom. Like, I'm ready. Okay, and so the other project I wanted to show you was this one. I couldn't remember if I had showed it to you, but in the last 6 months, maybe less or so, I have just been on a bag run. I've been making bags. So the Sweet Pea Sling is my 3rd one, and this is it's called the Big Katahdin Tote. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it beautiful? It's gorgeous. Like, I love this. I absolutely love this. And it's made out of my favorite line, which is Scrumptious. And look on the inside. It's huge. I've got some stuff in there, those pockets, right? And what's great about this, because this is the big katahdin, you take it with you to the airport, and that airport fills up, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to charge everyone who has a personal luggage. But they overlook this one. Why? Because it's not a hard luggage. It can smush. And even though I had this thing jam-packed and was open and stuff was spewing out, they still did not take it from me and add a tag and put it on the plane. I was able to take it with me to my seat. So yes, I recommend you make this. And then just for size, this is the katahdin. See how small it is? This one you can take wherever you go, and this one is for like big projects when you want to feel extra fancy. So yeah, I've just been making bags, and I think it's time to put a stop to that, because why am I making bags? I don't know, but I've been having fun doing it. And so this project here, this is an original design by me. I did not write it down. I drew it. And this project here is for the Cherry Wood Challenge 2025. It's called Abyss, Creatures from the Deep. And so you can go to the Cherrywood website and find out all about it, but I was like, I'm going to try. And it was just the perfect theme, because right now my son is into deep sea creatures. And when I was like, should mommy make a deep sea creature quilt? He's like, yes, deep sea creatures. Yes, mommy, make a quilt. And so we went to the library and we checked out just like 10, 15 books, and we watched all these shows on deep sea creatures, and I made the practice run. You can see where my errors were, like I was missing a whole inch on either side of that. And then I had no idea how to like figure out the correct, you know, length, because this is on point. And so this was hard. This was very hard. And it's not done, because I still need to add some deep sea creatures, which is the theme of this challenge, onto here. And I've got those drawn out, but I just wanted to share that this is really fun. This has been really challenging. Like this right here is a Y seam. All the corners, those are Y seams. I don't know, I spent probably more time on these Y seams than like half the time of like putting the borders together. It was so hard, and even then this one is wrinkly. You see that? I'm gonna have to like, I don't know, cover it with a squid tentacle. I don't know. I'm gonna do something with it, but it's just so pretty. And of course he reminds me, Mommy, you have to make the sea creature quilt. I'm like, okay, I can only work on so many things at a time, but he's so cute because he reminds me, especially when it's something that he wants, like his sleeping bag or this. So, which he is gonna get it. It's gonna go in his room. Whether or not it is accepted into the challenge, it is for my son. So, those are just some fun things that I've been working on. I hope you enjoyed this video and feel inspired to make all sorts of fun things, not just quilts. And when I see you next time, make sure you gather all your scraps, because we're going to be making a scrappy quilt. And it's also from the Perfect 5 Quilts book, and it is called the Fortune Cookie Quilt. And look how fabulous this is. Look at all those itty bitty pieces. And I love a quilt with itty bitty pieces. If you can't tell, I do. I'm a crazy lady. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Remember to comment, like, and share my videos, please, with your friends. And I can't wait to see you next time. Have fun quilting. Bye.